The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock.
My rock.
The Most High is my rock. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Most High is my cupcake and cutlet hit the streets and start. Israelites are bubbling. Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate thanks. Dang, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button. And I feel sorry for you if you think the Lord is bluffing. That's why I hit the booth and I tell the truth. Are you fishing with the truth? Homie, where's your fruit? If the don't treat him like a side piece. Come in and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. Do you
keep the Bible on cop?
The Most High is my rock. Rock, rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock.
My rock.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom!
Shalom, everybody online. Welcome to another live class. We're here at 8524 South Braeswood Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77071. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday from 7 to 9, Friday from 6 to 8, every Saturday from about 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for Shabbat service. If you're local in the Houston area, feel free to come on by. We have two other locations. We're in Virginia at 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia, 23517. They're there every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 7 to 9. Okay? Also, we're in San Antonio. We've been there almost 30 years. We're at 4444 Walsham Road, Suite 201, San Antonio, Texas, 78218. All right, so they changed their address. They got a new school recently. Their class days have also changed. They're on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7 to 10. Also Saturday, 10 to 2. Okay, so if you're in San Antonio, feel free to drive by those days for class. We got Mashaba that does the Blog Talk Radio coming out of Albuquerque every Tuesday and Thursday from 9:30 a.m. to about 12. So make sure you tune in for that. It's a podcast, so you can have it automatically download to your podcast player. If you got Apple, or you can download a separate app for the podcast, but it can download automatically when he updates for the new episodes. All right. We got Purim coming up for our feast days. That's the 6th of March, the 6th and the 7th. All right. That's the holiday. That's the high holy day where we give gifts. So if you want to participate, we'll get everything going. Usually we do like a lottery type system for the brothers and sisters that are here in Houston or that are local to give, so we can do the little gift exchange. That's the 6th and the 7th. We will be celebrating. That's a Friday and a Saturday. Then coming up after that is Passover, April the 12th, 2020. Everybody, I got people hitting me up about the Passover garments. They haven't put anything out yet as far as colors or price. So as soon as I get it, y'all will get it. We do have the location. Okay, the location is at La Fontana Springs Event Center. That's in San Antonio. It's 27618 Natural Bridge Caverns Road, San Antonio, Texas, 78266. She'll put the address in the chat or up in the description for everybody to get. So you can start planning at least your plane, your flight, your transportation for that day. That's the 12th. That is America's Easter Sunday. We do it that day because everybody's off. Everything should be closed. So we give everybody the opportunity to show up. We do it on that day. Everything's closed down, the malls, businesses. So you should be able to attend. What else? We have a new channel, and it's for our cable show. It's Hidden Truth Bible Show, I believe, right? Is it, Hidden Truth Cape. What is it? Do you have the?
Let me see.
Yeah, she's gonna put. It's Hidden Truth
Bible Show.
Hidden Truth Bible Show. She's gonna put the link. That's where we put all of our cable shows and our news shows that we're gonna start getting back to. Okay, so look out for that. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to that as well as the other channels. I know you got a few. We got the ISBHPK Kids where you can watch previously recorded kids class, and we do live class for the children every Sabbath at around 2:30 here at the school. Okay. The school department still has a few shirts that are fringed in the back if you want to purchase one of those to help out the school. Again, with Passover garments, we'll give you the details, the color scheme. If you I got brothers hitting me up about getting a garment, that's perfectly fine. Just give us a little time to get everything organized, and I'll get back to everybody on pricing and things of that nature. If you need to reach a teacher, my phone number is 303-557-8979. If you reach Priest Kazakia, he's in Virginia. His number is 281-707-2737. Check out our business website. It's www.sweetambiance.com. We also have a few mall locations. If you'd like to help support that way. Also, we have the Wells Fargo to Google Wallet for anybody that wants to help out with the Passover. Any donations for the lamb, for the location. Those are the two most expensive things. Location is secured as far as the deposit and things like that. The lamb is going to cost about $2,000 for all the lambs that we're going to need. So anybody, if you want to help, if you feel it in your heart to help. If you can't help, please still show up to the Passover. Just, showing up, your attendance is not contingent on what you gave. We understand Israel just don't got it all the time. So, whatever you can give, that'd be appreciated. If you don't want to give towards the Passover, but you want to give other things, books, pens, papers, if you want to order, you can get us a couple of apocryphers. They're like $4 each. You can order from Amazon, get them sent to the school. Things like that. Those help out too. All right. People come in here all the time without apocryphers, without Bibles. You'd be surprised. It's the most published book on earth, but it's like almost the least owned. A lot of people come in without Bibles, which is fine as long as we have them to give. We'll give them. All right. You can mail anything you want to the other school locations also, San Antonio, Virginia. Virginia being the newest school, they're gonna need a little bit more than we've been here almost 10 years in this building. San Antonio's been around 30-something years, so not saying that they don't need help, but you gotta take care of the little brother. Virginia's the Benjamin, that's Benjamin of the crew. Right, little bro. Right, so you got to make sure he get the extra portions, right? Like how Joseph did Benjamin when he caught him in Egypt. He gave Benjamin a double garment. He gave him extra shekels. When they sat to eat, give him extra food, right? That's a tradition. That's how you do little bro. So that's it for the announcements. We're gonna get into this class. And I think that y'all see the class title online, and it's one of these touchy subjects that we I've seen, and the title of the class is what did I say it was going to be? The title of the class is How Child Molestation Occurs in the Israelite Households. And this is a touchy subject for some, because they've been on the, for some older people, they've been on the receiving end of molestation and child abuse. In that, that sexual child abuse, they've been on that receiving end. And, a lot of people don't want to talk about that. This is one of those things that are avoided in the black household, the Hispanic household. We avoid this convo. We avoid how it happens. We don't want to talk about how we got here. And, it's one of those things we got to talk about. And we got to really see how does it start? Where does it come from? It's not just something that's there. It ain't just the condition of the battle. It ain't just, this is the curse. Yes, it is part of the curses per se, but we can't just say, well, that's the curse, that's it, boom. Oh, that's just the curse, that's it, boom. We gotta examine. We gotta go through and examine and see what's the cause. And it's simple. It's simple. It's funny, I was watching, I ain't gonna jump, but let's get some scriptures. Go to, first and foremost, go to Jeremiah 8 and verse 21.
Okay.
And like I said, I need y'all to bear with me. I'm a little sick, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm trying to push through. Bear with me. We're gonna get it in. So, this is one of these things where there's a lot of hurt and pain. Do me a favor. No. Stay right where you at. That way I can see everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of hurt and pain that comes from any type of sexual deviance, any type of sexual misconduct, especially towards the children. And, in my eyes, I feel like it can be prevented. I feel like it can be prevented if we take the right steps. And a lot of people don't like to talk about it. A lot of people don't like to bring up their past because of what they went through. You have people that don't talk about it because they not only are a product, but now they are the ones that are reciprocating what was done to them. So it's this cycle, man. It's vicious. It's a vicious cycle of, and I'm gonna take y'all kind of on I'm gonna try to bring you through this in a way that I understand it and how I've seen it happen. All right. I got family members that have been through it because of it, at the end of the day, there's a certain level of neglect and misconduct on everyone's part. So let's deal with the first scripture. Let's do it. Jeremiah 8:21.
Jeremiah chapter 8 verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
For the hurt of the daughter of my people am I hurt.
Right. So this was Jeremiah, prophesying during our captivity, and he's looking at the condition of Israel. And when you read these scriptures, they liken Israel to the daughter of Zion or the daughter. I'm trying to pinpoint and show y'all that if we look at our children and daughters, it's not only daughters but sons, because the women ain't the only one that get molested. It happens to the little boys too.
Gosh.
But if you look at the daughters of Zion and you look at the way they carry themselves as young teens and young adults, and you say, damn, it should spark a thought or a question in your mind that what happened when you see a 15-year-old moving in a certain sexually aggressive type of way, or a 12-year-old twerking on TV, or a 9-year-old running around in spandex, or little young girls or little young boys talking about sex. It should spark a thought process of, wait a minute, what's going on in this situation where they're allowed to be so loose and open with, sexuality. Just as in a whole, I'm not dealing with just homosexuality. I'm not dealing with just straight, I'm talking about just sexuality as a whole. where does the thought should be down? Because I know it does that to me. I'm in the mall a lot, and that's where our business is at. So we're privy to a lot of different type of people and people of all ages. So really, when you step back and you look, I look at the mall totally different than I did 20 years ago. And I use it as a way to examine people and to look at the different spirits that flow through. And you'll see the stripper. You'll see the stripper with her daddy. And I'm not talking about like her pimp daddy. I'm talking about her actual dad. You'll see that. You'll see the little young girls that they'll just walk up to any man and look them dead in the eyes and just be ready to give themselves. You'll see the little young boys that are feminine. You'll see the little boys that are overly aggressive when it comes to dealing with women. You'll see all different sorts of characters and spiritual, if you want to use the word defects and flaws, because they are. And it makes me wonder, like, damn, where is this child's parent? And then I got to reflect on my own and say, okay, now I know what to look for. Now I know what to try to prevent. And that's what we should be doing. And this is what Jeremiah was doing, man. He was stepping back and he was like, wow, my people are going through it. And it hurt him. Go ahead, read it again.
For the hurt of the daughter of my people,
right,
am I hurt.
Read.
I am black.
Right.
Astonishment had taken hold on me.
He's an astonishment. And sometimes I'm astonished at what I see from our people. I'm astonished. I'm like, damn, you let your child leave the house like that? Wow, you left the house like that? Damn, you walk around acting this type of way in front of your son? And sometimes, you would think that you would think that after so long of seeing our people go through what we've gone through and being conscious of what we're dealing with, that nothing would amaze you. And I'm amazed every day. Every day I'm in astonishment. Every day I'm like, wow, we've stooped to a whole new level. Like, what's the one chick that was twerking at the Staples Centers? Lizzo, right? When I seen that, I thought that we plummeted another 100 years back into the past. And I was like, before that, I didn't think we could get any lower. And especially black and Hispanic women. I was like, whoa, the bar was already low. Cardi B, she lowered it. Remy, what's her name?
Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion, she lowered it more. Nicki Minaj, she came and lowered it. But then this chick, she took the bar and basically was like, there are no standards. There is no bar. There is no level. And it blew my mind. It blows my mind when I get on, you slide through Facebook, you slide through whatever social media, and you hear about this celebrity talking about he topped off this guy, and he topped this dude off, and then, or you see, there's a photo of like 6 boys. Now, imagine this, there's a photo of 6 boys, but it's 3 couples, and they're hugged up in these poses as if they were boyfriend and girlfriend. And they take these photos and throw them online like it's cool. And I'm like, damn, the bar, there is no bar anymore. The standard has been so destroyed and lowered. And with every social media post and with every scroll, it's like, damn, man, how can we get any worse? How can we be more destroyed? How can we be more, and I'm astonished. And I don't think enough people are astonished though. We'll talk shit. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, but what are we really doing? Oh yeah, look at them faggots over there. What the hell's going on over here? Why is she dressed like that? But where does it start? Where did she start dressing like that? Where did he learn to be a homosexual? Well, a lot of this starts at home. A lot of it starts at home. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. I know a lot of people like, nah, well, I didn't raise a homosexual boy or a lesbian daughter. I didn't raise a drug dealer. I didn't raise a child molester. I didn't raise a murderer, but you did. Yeah. You did. And I'm going to show you how. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 3. Wisdom of Solomon 3 and verse 10. A lot of us don't want to acknowledge what we've created. A lot of parents out there is like, no, not my baby. There's no way. I raised him to go to church. I raised him to love the Lord. If he's a woman beater, I didn't raise a woman beater. I raised him to love women. Did you? I raised him to, to respect women. I didn't raise a drug dealer. I told him that drugs were bad, but did you? And how? And how frequently? And how consistent? And how diligent? And with what tools? See, this is the thing that this is where we forget as older people. I'm almost in my 40s. I got kids. And, that generation of 40, 50, even 60-year-olds, and a little bit of probably 35, we're in that range of the teenage children. And a lot of us don't look back and say, well, what tools was I using to show my son that drug dealing was wrong? Or showing my daughter that being a whore wasn't the right way to do, or a stripper, or a gold digger, or a sugar mama, or finding a sugar daddy. What tools were being used? Because you can sit there and say, well, I taught him all day. I taught. We sat in church. We listened to pastor. We had heart-to-hearts. And look how they turned out. It's their fault. But is it? Wisdom of Solomon 3:10.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 10. For the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imagination.
Go ahead.
Which have neglected.
Which have what?
Neglected.
Which have what?
Neglected.
Go ahead.
The righteous.
And that's where it starts, man. There's a neglect of righteousness. There is a disdain for the truth. There is a level of, well, I learned things a certain way, so I'm going to hold to that way. My mama sat me down at the kitchen table, and we talked about boys, and I'm going to have the same situation with my daughter, but your daughter is the product of adultery. Or your daughter is the result of a mistake that you didn't even mean. So how well did that talk really go? Because we focus on, well, I did it. Well, I said something, right? That's how we do it. Well, I talked to him. I don't know what his problem is.
Exactly.
But with what? With what? Read on.
And forsaken the Lord.
Go ahead.
For whoso despiseth wisdom.
Whoso what?
Despiseth wisdom.
And this is the problem with our people. We've despised wisdom for thousands of years. We've put wisdom to the side and said, you know what? I'm going to do tradition. I'm going to do custom. I'm going to do what feels comfortable, what feels right.
That's right.
And so by throwing away wisdom, there's a few key things that happen to a family or that happen inside of a household. Go ahead.
And nurture.
And so wisdom and nurture. Somebody look up that word nurture. And I know y'all like, man, we, heard this scripture before. Blah, 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 blah. This was one of our favorites for like 3 years. Right? This is a good scripture, and it's a good description of what happens to the Black and Hispanic family when we put the Most High's commandments and laws to the side. What you got for nurture? Anybody got anything? I can look it up real fast. I didn't. N-U-R-T-U-R-E. Nurture. That which promotes growth, education, and instruction. To feed, to nourish, to educate, to bring up, or train. So that's what nurture. So he that despises the things that promote growth, education, and instruction, go ahead.
He is miserable.
He is what?
He is miserable.
Right. So you see the scriptures, it's almost like it's just talking to a man. Because the man is the head of the household. So the man is miserable. What else?
And their hope is vain.
Vain hopes. The things they hope for. I want to be a millionaire. Yeah. I want to be rich. I want to, just vain things that don't matter. There's no profit.
That's right.
Nothing to do with solidifying your family. Nothing to do with solidifying your household. Nothing to do with cleaning up the hurt that Jeremiah was talking about, and we're going to get more into that. But all about vain things. So I want to have this type of car, or this type of bank account, or I want to go travel the world, or I want to meet this type of woman. Go ahead.
Their labors unfruitful, and their works unprofitable.
The labors yield zero fruit. It's like, damn man, you've been working hard for years.
Yeah.
I just can't get ahead. Well, where's the wisdom?
Exactly.
It says their labors unfruitful and their work what?
Unprofitable.
Why? Because the work you put in is for who? Who is it for? Who is it to benefit? Go ahead.
Their wives.
And this is a point that I want to get to in this scripture. Go ahead. It says their what?
Their wives.
Go ahead.
Are foolish.
Their wives are what?
Are foolish.
Now, this is where the nurturing of the children begin. With the women. With the wives. But if you have a foolish, churlish man that doesn't want to apply wisdom,
That's right.
how's his wife going to apply anything? How she's not. She ain't going to know what to do. You know, there's like this meme that goes around, like it says, if a woman don't love God, how's she going to love you? That's spot on. That's real deal. So, but if a man doesn't love wisdom, how is his wife going to know wisdom? Know what wisdom is? She won't. And then it trickle down effect, right? Go ahead.
And their children wicked.
And they're what?
Their children wicked.
And they're what?
Their children wicked.
And their children now become the product of wickedness, but not only the product, but they start to be the wickedness. They start to push wickedness, and I'm going to get into it. Read verse 13.
Their offspring is cursed.
Their offspring is what?
Is cursed.
And now they produce cursed offspring. So the scripture is beautiful because it gives you the repercussions of one man's actions as pertaining to his family structure. And I mean, if you look at it good enough, it's talking about generations. The effect on generations. Right? Now, going back to this molestation and child abuse and child rape, because it's not just molestation, it's child rape. You have in the Black and Hispanic community, that's big. You have child abuse, the physical, mental, verbal abuse of children. Why? Because I don't know how to talk to my child. I don't know how to deal with when my child, they got that commercial on TV. I don't know if they still air it, but it shows like if a baby is crying to step out the room and leave them, let them cry. Because you had people, some of our people back in the day, what were they doing? They were taking babies and throwing them against the wall to shut them up. They would put a pillow over their face and strangle them, suffocate them, shaking baby syndrome. They would shake them, shut up, right? But because we have these young, inexperienced mothers, young, inexperienced fathers, and really what it is because they despise wisdom and nourishment. So they get into the situations that they don't know how to handle. And there's a product of not having wisdom, man. There's a product of hating to be told something. A lot of us don't like to be told when we're wrong. And it's like, it challenges your ego. Now, wrong is wrong. Wrong is wrong. Good is good, evil is evil, bad is bad, wrong is wrong. And, the problem is also with being wrong is we look at the source of the correction, or we look at the source of who's telling me my fault. And a lot of times, the ones that are telling you your fault, they're actually stepping back and watching you make the mistake. So they're kind of qualified to say, hey, do this, do that, do this right, do that right. A lot of us don't want to hear that. As young kids, we didn't want to hear that. But then all that did was just take us into our grown adult years where we still didn't want to hear that. We didn't want to hear it from our wife, from our husband, from the brothers, from your sister, from your mama. Your mama can't tell you nothing because you're 30 now. I'm 30, so moms, you can't correct me. I'm 50, so pops, take a back seat. Right? But that despising wisdom and nurture, and I get it, because I'm like that to an extent. I'm gonna show you how though. My mom will try to give me wisdom on certain situations. I'm like, okay, but you messed up in that situation 6 times. You had 6 of us, and you messed up. So the 7th, you want to do it good, right? Do it right? I was like, nah, mom, I got the answers. I'm good. And they don't like to hear that. Now, am I despising wisdom and nurture? No. What I'm pushing to the side is folly. What I'm pushing to the side is the mistakes that happened when I was growing up from my parents, even my pops. I went to see my pops 2 weeks ago, and I'm sitting rapping with him for a couple of hours. And he's one of the nicest dudes you'll meet, but he's one of the most ignorant people you'll meet. And I mean that in all respect, but he's ignorant as hell. He makes a lot of follies in life. And the scriptures say, don't be afraid to tell an old fool that he's a fool. There's old fools and young fools. And I sit with my pops, and I know how to bring things to his mind without offending him. I can reason with my pops now and say, well, listen, man, I'm doing what you did, but better. And he can sit back and look at me and say, yeah, you ain't making the same mistakes. I'm like, yeah, I'm learning from your mistakes. I'm not running to their wisdom and nurture. I'm pushing their wisdom and nurture to the side because it's not wisdom. But I'm using this and now trying to reverse the cycle with them. Now, sometimes they push me to the side like, no, we ain't gonna hear you because you're our child. You're my son. I can't hear my son. I can't lower my pride and let this little nigga teach me nothing. My mom's like, what you don't know. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. Then 5, 10 couple days later, you calling me. I'm going through this. I'm dealing with this. And I'm like, I told you what to do. Right? So we can see that this wisdom and nurture, the despising nurture, it's a thing that if we're not careful, there's different products that come from despising nurture. Right? Now, also I want to point this out, that you have a lot of people you got a lot of Israelites out there from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago, 6 months ago, that sat in class, that learned the scriptures, that learned what it is was expected of them, and they said, no, I don't want that. I don't like correction. I don't want to be told anything. I got other things to do. I'll serve the Most High the way I want. I don't believe. I'd rather be a Christian. I'd rather just be lazy. There's a product of that. And a lot of those people, what do we say? They return to their vomit. Right? Now, you see this a lot with women, where women get into this situation. First, go to 2 Peter 2:22 real quick. I want to just bring this scripture out. This is for the ones. Now I'm showing y'all 2 different things where a lot of our people didn't get the wisdom and nurture that was necessary. But a lot of our people have gotten it. And the ones that have gotten it, this is what happens to them once they say, you know what, I don't want wisdom and nurture. 1 Peter 2:22.
2 Peter
2:22.
Chapter 2, verse 22. But it is happened unto them according to the true proverb.
Go ahead.
The dog is turned to his own vomit again.
The dog has done what?
Turned into his own vomit again.
Right. So with a lot of our people, man, they'll get the wisdom, they'll get the knowledge. A lot of sisters, they'll get the wisdom and knowledge. They'll have children in the truth, being brought up in wisdom. And what'll happen is they don't like that now they have to submit to their husband. Now they got to submit to the Bible. Now you got to be busy. Now you can't be idle. Now you can't be lazy. Now you got a purpose. And it's like, well, I don't want a purpose no more. I don't like having a purpose. I don't like having to push myself. I don't like having to be an example. A lot of our women are in that mind. They come out of the world. I don't want to, they come out of the world, they get cleaned up, they get the sisterhood, they get the charity, they get the love, they get that husband that they asked for, that righteous man that wasn't doing all the things that all their boyfriends were doing to them.
God.
But then that righteous man is like, hey, well, we got to be busy. We got to be dedicated to something. We got to be on top of things. We got to be diligent. And that woman is like, no, I don't want to be diligent. I don't want to have charity. I don't want to communicate. So what do? Read it one more time.
But it is happened unto them according to the true proverb.
Right?
The dog.
Wait, it's a false proverb?
True proverb.
Right?
The dog is turned to his own vomit again. And the soul. And the soul that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
Right. A sow that's washed, a clean pig, returns back to what? His dirt. Y'all ever see a dog return to his vomit? It's funny because a dog will vomit up something, sniff it, and walk away. Like, nah, I ain't eating that. Give him 5 minutes. He right back on it when he's idle and got nothing else to do. He's right back, just like, what you eating? You just hear the damn, you do that, you look, you just see chunks of whatever it was. Now, the Most High, you gotta see how eloquent it's, because that's filthy. That's filthy. But look at how the Most High equated that to a person's life. The things that you vomit up, the things that you spit out, the things that you regurgitate out of your gut, is showing you that they're not good for you. Why do you vomit? Your body is rejecting. So it's the things that you've rejected, you return right back to and just eat them right back up. And this is the issue with a lot of parents. Especially I'm dealing with the women now. I'm going to go in and deal with these women that reject structure. You reject the fact that now you have to be submissive to a man, but to a righteous man. Because there was no problem submitting to the drug dealer. There was no problem submitting to the nigga that was trying to halfway pimp you. There was no problem submitting to the dude that was beating you. There was no problem with that. But now when the man, he gets upset, instead of punching you square in the damn eye, he says, oh, okay, get your Bible. That is like the worst statement for women ever for some reason. He didn't call you a bitch. He didn't call you a hoe. Pardon my language. He said, go get your Bible. And it's like you cringe and you ball up and you start to develop some hate, some disdain for this man, because once he goes precept upon precept, he's going to tear that spirit. If that's only if he hasn't despised wisdom and nurture. If he's despised it, then he's going to be all over the place. And he's going to be hitting you with the color of Christ when your spirit's off. He's going to be hitting you with the Jews are black, right? And you're going to be all over the place. And you're going, whoa, okay. But a man that's surgical, a man that's able to receive wisdom and nurture and hasn't despised it, he's going to be able to look at you, assess, and say, this is the problem. Let's go here real quick. Boom. Let's go here. Boom. You understand that? Boom. What do you understand about that? And he's going to push you to a different level. A lot of y'all don't want that. A lot of women really don't want that. So what you do is you make up fictitious reasons why not to push. You make up, they're a cult. Or he just uses the Bible to control. You make up these little fictitious things in your head so that you could have an escape route. Right? Oh, he was too busy. We didn't go out enough. He wasn't here to go out. He wasn't here to relax. You were here to be busy. Right? So you decide, okay, I'm going to run back to the vomit. The things that were cleaned up out of me, I'm going to run back and get dirty. Read it one more time.
But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb.
Right?
The dog is turned to his own vomit again.
Right?
And the sow,
right,
that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
Now, 90% of the time, if there's children involved, where do those children go? When the mom separates from a father,
With the mom.
they go with the mother.
Yes.
Right? Especially if they're young and they don't have a say. The children don't really kind of know. They'll cling more to the mom. And that's usually how it goes, right? Now, if the mom returns to the vomit and to the mud, and the children are with her, what are they going to be in? Righteousness? They're going to be in whatever situation that mother is in. Right? I've seen women leave. I've seen women leave a husband and children to go be living in their own house, comfortable, right? And it's not about a house and all that, but I'm showing y'all in their own home, comfortable, doing the will of the Most High, to saying, you know what? I don't want to do that. I'm going to go live on my sister's couch and just be a bum. I'm going to be a couch bum. Because I want to be able to run the streets. I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. I don't want nobody to tell me anything. I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. Where it's like, wait a minute, we're here, we're fighting for a different purpose. We're fighting to show our children a different type of example. But it's like, no, I don't want to fight for that because I'm more important. So I'm going to run back to the vomit of my life. All the dirt that I washed off me, I want to get dirty again. But I want to bring not just myself. I want to drag these little babies along. And that's what happens. A lot of women, man, they drag their children into these situations. And watch. Go to 1 Samuel 1:24. They bring their children into the vomit. So now, what is there to teach your children? What do your children learn? What do the children see? Well, all they see is what they're around. All they see is what they're around. So, if you ran back to weed smoke, if you ran back to alcoholism, if you ran back to being a hoe, if you ran back to just slothfulness, that's what the children see, right? Now, I want to see if y'all are thinking, what's the killer about running back to the vomit? What's the killer about running back to what's the killer about running back to your demons? In what?
Yeah.
So if you ran from alcoholism, if you got cleaned up from alcoholism or weed smoke, when you run back to that, there's going to be 10 times more filth waiting. And this is what people don't realize, man. That when that house is swept and garnished, like it says in Matthews, and them demons is gone from you, and they're looking for a place to rest, and they're like, oh, well, we can go back there. Yeah. That demon got 4, 5, 6, 10 times more demons attached to him. So not only is the weed demon with him, the alcohol demon is with him. The loner demon is with him. The straggler spirit of just random ass people being around you. You ever walk into a house? You ever walk into a house and you step in and it's just random people? Yeah. But you went there to go see a person or pick some, you went there to go see a family member or whatever the case may be, and you walk in and you're like, damn, who's that person and that person? Or everybody just sits there and looks idle. Yes. You ever see that?
Yes.
It's almost like when you step in, you're like, wait a minute. At any moment, somebody can pull out a blunt, start smoking it. Somebody can pull out a gun, start shooting it. Somebody can pull out the bottle, start drinking. But then the cops can kick the door down at any moment also, because the characters that are around are shady and shifty. Now, a lot of women have their children in those situations where you got random men that just come through your house. Random people. Right? But read this. 1 Samuel 24:13. 1 Samuel 24:13.
1 Samuel chapter 24, verse 13.
Go ahead.
As saith the proverb of the ancients,
read.
Wickedness proceeded from the wicked.
Right. So why did I go here? Well, I go here to show you that once that woman or man drags their children into that vomit, all it is wicked teaching wicked. All it is you now, the wickedness that proceeds from you is going to go to the children. Right? Read it again.
As said the proverb of the ancients,
right?
Wickedness proceeded from the wicked.
Right. Wickedness is going to proceed from the wicked. And all it's going to be is a cycle of I'm teaching you wicked. And then as a child sees that. What do?
Copy.
Yes.
They copy. Go to Ezekiel 16:44. Not only do they copy it, listen, they become it. They become wickedness. They become, they say the product of your environment.
Copy.
They literally become that. Because a lot of kids don't know better in these situations.
Wow.
Watch, go ahead, read.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 44.
Go ahead.
Behold, everyone that useth proverbs
right.
shall use this proverb against thee.
Right.
Saying, as is the mother,
right,
so is her daughter.
Right. Why? Because as the mother is doing, as the mother is wallowing around in the wickedness in the mud, wandering from house to house, right? Smoking up the ganja. Guess what little baby girl is doing in the next room?
Exact same thing.
Inhaling secondhand smoke. When you sitting on the couch pouring up bottles with all these niggas around you, what's the little baby girl doing when she peeks through the little peek hole? She's like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's how you drink that. That's how you kiss that man. That's how you do all the things that little kids shouldn't see. Right? Read it one more time.
Behold, everyone that useth proverbs
right.
shall use this proverb
Go ahead.
against thee.
Right.
Say, as is the mother, so is her daughter.
Right? That's it. As is the mother. Why? Because they see the imprint. They see the imprint of that mother from that child. It's like the child becomes a carbon copy. The scriptures say, train up a child. Now we go there a lot. I'm not gonna go there, but there's two trainings that go on, man. There's a righteous nurturing, and there's a wicked nurturing. There's a righteous example, and there's a wicked example. Now, your child could be trained up in either one, but doesn't that depend on where you're at? Doesn't that depend on your setting? Now, go to Job real quick, because my problem with my problem with Black and Hispanic women when it comes to this subject is that a lot of y'all allow your children to be put in situations to be raped, to be touched, to have sex with these old ass men. A lot of y'all put yourselves in these situations. You do it to your own children. You allow your little boys to get touched on, now they're effeminate, because you think that as long as my child is nestled under my wing, right next to me, that's love. That as long as I can say that I got my baby, I'm doing for mine. As long as you can say that and people can see like, oh yeah, he's always with his mom, that's actual love. So, wouldn't actual love be to consider your situation, consider a different route and say, well, what is the right way for my child? I've seen women, man, purposely just to spite a man, will have their kids in damn drive-bys and shootouts, literally, because they want to have their kid next to them instead of saying, you know what, go with your dad. Go with your dad. I want to spite him. I don't want him to see you. I'm going to hold him from you. Hold the child from the man. But that child is in every bad situation. That vomit. Listen, some of our vomit is real vomit. Some of the vomit that our people have tried to clean up off themselves, it ain't nothing nice, man. There's death associated. There's robbing and killing associated. And going back to that, man, you got to see that there are different ways of doing things, but there is a product of now dragging a young life into that. Right? So, go to Job. Go to Job 39. Go to Job 39 and verse 13. You know, we got to see, in the black and Hispanic woman, we got to wake up. You got to stop being so spiteful. And there's men like this too, man. There's black men like this, but we got to stop being so spiteful towards one another. There's one thing if you don't want to do the will of the Most High, or if you don't want to be right or keep your head on straight, but why destroy the next generation to come by saying, well, I want you to be here and witness my filth. You know, I've seen people leave the truth and they're going back to doing the thing they were doing 20 years ago. But worse. Now it's publicized. Now they got Snapchat and Facebook and Instagram, so they can put all their folly on a story, and you like, dang, that's what you want? Yeah. Now they taking photos of their filth. Not only, now it's not, they're not scared to hide it. They're not scared to hide it. You know, they'll put it for the world to comment and to give them feedback and to give them the heart. And what is that? Motivation. Let me keep pushing through my wickedness, right? God. Job 39, 13, read.
Job chapter 39, verse 13.
Right.
Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks?
Right.
Or wings and feathers unto the ostrich?
Right. So this was the Most High, man. He was checking Job, and he was asking Job a few things. Were you able to give the peacock's feathers? Were you able to give them wings? Go ahead.
Which leaveth her eggs in the earth.
Wait, the peacock does what?
Leaveth her eggs in the earth.
Go ahead.
And warmeth them in dust.
Right.
And forgetteth that the foot may crush them. Yeah.
A peacock, an ostrich, they bury their eggs in the earth, not considering, and this is how a lot of black and Hispanic women are. You'll bury your kids in a house, or you'll keep them at the house, or you'll keep them buried in that mud of filth of your life. And they're around that. And that mud represents the shady ass people you dealt with, shady women that you dealt with, shady parents, people with no wisdom. And you let your children be buried around that vomit. And it says, read verse 15.
And forget it that the foot may crush them.
Right.
Or that the wild beasts may break them.
Yeah, now the ostrich is a base animal. The peacocks they're base animals. So they're like, yeah, I'm just trying to keep my eggs warm. But our women are like, yeah, I'm going to bury you next to me in my filth. And don't even consider that the vomit is choking your children. Them random niggas you got running through your house because now you free and independent. The nigga you got just sleeping on your couch because that's my bestie. Oh, I've heard it. I've seen it. You got women, man, they'll have all these random ass dudes going through their house, and they got children. They're single women. They got children. Next thing you know, your daughter's popping up talking about such and such that been at the house molesting me. Such and such raped me. And it's like, oh no, not him. That couldn't be. Yeah. And instead, look, I see one on Facebook, man. I see one on Facebook where the little girl went to her mom and was like, your boyfriend has been molesting me. And what did the mom say?
Lying.
She didn't say it in them words. She said, what was you wearing? What was you doing for him to do that? And so this is the thing. She was recording her mom. Her mom didn't know it. She had the phone recording, and you could kind of hear the voices and see like the bottom half of them. Like she was recording on the slide, but she told her, she said, listen, such and such been touching on me. He be coming in my room at night. What was you wearing for him to come up in the room and do that? What was you doing? This is the response of this black woman to her young black daughter. this Israelite woman to her Israelite daughter. Instead of saying, wait a minute, pause, pump brakes. The nigga that I chose to be with, I didn't choose him in wisdom and knowledge and in understanding. I chose the first nigga that was gonna give me some attention. The first bank account, the first rims that roll by. That's what I chose. So this is the product of my folly. Like the ostrich, man, she left her child to be crushed by the wild beasts, trodden underfoot. Instead of sitting back and considering and saying, wait a minute, I made some wrong decisions and wrong moves. She blamed her daughter. Read verse 15 again.
And forget it that the foot may crush them.
Or at least the ostrich is retarded. It's a dumb animal. It forgets. But our women, it's not even a consideration. It's not even a consideration. It says that the women of Israel have become cruel like the ostrich. Right? There's a level of cruelty with our women where as long as my child is with me, as long as I can sit there and gaze into their eyes, I don't care what situation I got them in. I can have them around killers, murderers, dope dealers, drug dealers. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Listen, I remember way back when I was 19, first started coming into the truth. And there was a sister that I was trying to teach, and I would be around her family. But that's all that was coming through her house was they would wake up. This was the routine. This is way back. They would wake up, start drinking. So they wake up like around 1 p.m., start hitting Paul Masson and E&J, not even no good drink, but they start hitting Paul Masson, E&J, whatever. They start drinking. They drink. Whoever smoked will go do their smoking thing, right? The sister, she had a sister. She would have sit in the room all day, just like no getting up, no work, no nothing. Section 8. Sit in the room, lay in the bed, watching TV all day. And you would see about, if you went there enough times in a week, you see like 2-3 different dudes pop into that room and pop out. This is the kicker. Everybody's smoking, everybody's drinking. I'm talking about their moms was there smoking and drinking. They were smoking and drinking, the son. But this is the kicker. The one that was laid up in the room had a 5-year-old son, 3-year-old daughter, and a newborn. 5-year-old son. And I used to sit there with that little boy like, okay, this dude is in a bad situation. And I would tell him like, yo, y'all are showing this dude the wrong thing. All y'all 19, they ain't listening to me, they don't give a damn. Fast forward, 20 years later, the same 5-year-old son, all he do is sit in the house and smoke weed. All he do is sit there and talk about he making music. No ambitions in life. The daughter that was a few years younger than him, she about 17 now. Boys walking around on Instagram, half-ass naked, crop tops, breast out, little breast she got or don't got. The youngest baby, they talking about she got depression and anxiety. She ain't even 16. She can't even go to school. She can't even go to school. This is 20 years now that you fast forward. Right? And you like, damn, this is the product of that type of lifestyle. But imagine being pulled from that as one of those people in there. You pull from that. And then you say, you know what? Nah, I want to go back to that. But not only do I want to be in that, I want to bring my kids into that environment. Imagine that. So what are them kids going to be? It's going to be worse. I mean, you got a boy that's a weed head, a chick that she's 17, probably ran around, maybe had sex with a couple of dudes, and a young daughter that she got anxiety issues. Right? But now imagine if you bring some other kids into that same type of environment with those 3 type of kids. And on top of all the kids in the family, random niggas popping in and out. Just random dudes. Right? Random dudes. So now, if you have that same thing going on, you have a 17-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old daughter. What are them random ass dudes looking at? They're looking at your kids. They're looking at your daughters. You got now these grown men, and what do? Oh, there's a young spirit. They're not saying that, but they're like, oh, there's a little young girl over there. Now they start to hover around that situation. Now they popping up every day, trying to kick it, trying to hang out, waiting for what? Waiting for you to forget that you got your children here. They waiting for you to be like the ostrich and forget that somebody's here to break these kids down. They're waiting for you to just, hey, I'm about to run to the store real quick and leave your kids. Forget. Now they're getting touched on. Now someone is forcing their will onto those children. And this is part of where it starts in our community, where we accept, you got the family members that no one takes account for the type of family members they got. A lot of our people have been molested by their family, by their own grandpas and grandmas and uncles and big cousins, right? Because nobody was taking account for their child and saying, wait a minute, let me make sure that the person I'm leaving them around, this grown-ass cousin that's a boy, he ain't got no damn issues. He's not a sexual deviant. That's where a lot of it started with a lot of us. The neglect. Where the scriptures, I should have threw it in here. But it says that we become the neglectful, man. The women of Israel are neglectful, like the ostrich. Finish it up.
And forget it that the foot may crush them.
Yeah, that foot that's gonna crush them is all them random dudes you got coming through your house. Them random people that you got just showing up. Oh, I need a place to stay. They laid up on the couch and you got your kid's room right next door. What's to stop them from, when you passed out drunk or passed out from working all day, walking over and creeping right into their room? Because that's how it happens. That's how it happens. And then the audacity when they tell you, you're like, that didn't happen. Stop lying. Ha ha ha. You laugh it off like a big dummy. Or you push it to the side like, yeah, we ain't going to talk about that right now. Or that's too much of a conversation for me to have intellectually to deal with. Because that's the problem with our people too. We don't know how to deal with things on a level intellectually where we can actually examine, break things down, and come up with a solution. If it ain't a damn meme, if it's not a photo in a magazine or some crap on Instagram, it's like we cannot think past meme level. And you got these kids coming to you with real damn issues, man. You talk about how much the daughter got anxiety, but who's fixing it? Oh, let's just pull her out of school and act like nothing ain't going on. Let's just pull her out of school, leave her to herself on her phone. How the hell does that fix anxiety? It don't. But that's what we gonna do. That's what we gonna. Oh, how do we fix a weed head? Oh, well, we don't. We just let him smoke weed in his room. Just close the door. Just make sure you keep the door closed. But what about the seepage when you got other little children coming through and they just inhale and they just float to cloud 9 because of all the contact? Nobody's considering. Right? Read on.
Or that the wild beast may break them. Mm-hmm. She is hardened against her young
She is what?
Hardened against her young one.
Hardened, man. You get hard. That heart, that lack of nurture, that lack of looking out. Because y'all will look out. Y'all will look out when it benefits you. When it's tax time, I'm looking out for my little one. I got to make sure I get that. I'm looking out, right, to make sure that they're around so I can use them against their daddy. So I can use them as a pawn in my little sick-ass game. You look out. But for the most part, you can care less, man. Your heart has been hardened towards the husband, towards your children that they came from. Go ahead.
She is hardened against her young ones as though they were not hers.
And some of y'all wish y'all didn't even happen. Some of y'all wish, that's why it's so easy when they come to you with these delicate issues, you can just blow them off and blame them. Go ahead.
Her labor is in vain without fear.
Yeah, the whole labor of you having them and the 9 months and the, oh, I'm having a baby and birth showers and all that stuff. It says it's what?
Her labor is in vain.
It's in vain. You did all that in vanity, man. Go ahead.
Without fear.
There's no fear to lose your children. I can just make some new ones. Oh, I can just have some new ones. Or, oh, now I get to be free. Ooh, can't wait. Read on.
Because God had deprived her of wisdom.
Wait, what happened?
Because God had deprived her of wisdom.
Remember, the Most High is equating this ostrich to the women of Israel. He said the Most High has deprived you of wisdom. Go ahead.
Neither had he imparted to her understanding.
What understanding is it talking about? What understanding? Go to Romans 1:31. It said the Most High have deprived you of wisdom. Does that mean that you're stupid? No, that means that you don't understand what's at stake. You don't understand what wanting to wallow in your mire is going to produce. You don't understand what running back to the vomit is going to yield. There's a seed for everything, and something is going to spring from that. See, we get into the mind that what I do now ain't going to matter later. Yeah, it will. It don't matter what, good or bad, evil, wicked, something is going to spring from that. Romans 1:31.
God. Romans chapter 1, verse 31.
Right?
Without understanding.
Without what?
Without understanding.
Read.
Covenant breakers.
Read.
Without.
Yeah, see, he deprived you of understanding. Now you break the covenant. Which ones? Well, first of all, you had a few covenants going on if you're a mother with child. Obviously, you had a man. You broke that covenant because you left him. You broke the covenant to be a nurturer to your children, to be an example, to now be able to push to your children how to love their husbands, how to be good people. You broke those covenants, man. You broke the law. Go ahead.
Without natural affection.
Wait, what did you not understand to have?
Without natural affection.
What did the Most High deprive you of?
Natural affection.
See, you were deprived of the understanding of what natural affection is supposed to be. You were deprived of what your job was supposed to be. It says natural affection. Natural affection is something that you're supposed to have naturally, right? It's supposed to be in you. It's supposed to be a part of you. They call it what for a woman? Maternal instinct. What do they call it for a man? Don't they got a word? Ain't it for? No, there's not. Men ain't got that. Men are just killing. Right? Maternal instincts. Meaning, if my child is in danger, I'll go lift a car off of this little dude to make sure he don't die. I'll stop traffic with my body. I'll run 1,000 miles an hour in 5 feet to protect them from danger. Maternal, but also, I know when they're hungry. I know the hungry. You know the hungry cry, right, Mathaniah? You know the hungry cry. You know the diaper cry. You know the actual pain cry. You'll know those. I know. Damn, that's the hungry cry. Up, let me get the bottle. Up, that's the poop cry. Damn, she must have fell. That's the I hurt myself cry. And you can gauge by the tone of voice and the pitch, because that natural affection is there. A lot of our women, it says that, I gotta find it, man. I gotta find it. I gotta go here. I keep saying it. It's, go to, where were we at? We were in Ezekiel, right?
The one I just read?
Job.
Where were we at just now?
Romans chapter 1, verse 31.
What Ezekiel did I have y'all go to?
Ezekiel 16.
Ezekiel 16?
44.
Give me a sec. I gotta get this one. Read where you at one more time in Romans.
Romans chapter 1, verse 31.
Without
understanding.
Right.
Covenant breakers.
Right.
Without natural affection.
No, right, without natural affection.
Implaceable.
Show me. In what?
Implaceable.
Implacable.
Implacable?
Implacable. Look that word up.
Implacable.
Somebody look that up. That was Job 39 that was that, right? Job. Somebody look up implacable. Go ahead.
Unmerciful.
Wait, what have our women become?
Unmerciful.
They become what?
Unmerciful.
Yeah, man. That lack of mercy. That lack of mercy for your children is no longer there.
That's right.
That lack of care, that lack of motherly nurture and instinct. Why? Because, let's face it, again, we always say, you haven't been nurtured. As the daughter is, so is the mother. Right? You haven't been nurtured. So you reciprocate what's been done to you. That's Job 39 and 13. 39 and 13. Right? So the one I want, what you got for implacable?
Implacable
Right?
is an adjective which means not to be appeased, that cannot be pacified and rendered peaceable, inexorable, stubborn, or constant in enmity.
You become what?
Stubborn or constant.
You become stubborn. And you now start to have enmity against your children. Go ahead.
Not to be appeased or subdued as implacable anger, implacable
You're
enmity.
angry. A lot of you bitter ass angry black women. When they got the diary of an angry black woman, they got books on this stuff and plays and movies. Because a lot of y'all are bitter and angry. You're bitter at your ex. You're bitter at your life. You're bitter at your situation. You're bitter because the kids they stopped you from pursuing your ballerina dreams. It's like, no, now I can't be the Weeknd's backup singer because now I got children. Like, he was never gonna be his backup singer. Now I can't be a star girl. What the hell are you talking about, star girl? You was never gonna be that with or without children. You was better off having them. At least with child, it says she shall be saved in childbearing. What the hell? You did the Weeknd and all these and running around trying to be a pop princess, basketball player, whatever the hell whack ass dreams you thought you had. You think that was gonna save you? But see, a lot of our people do. Go to Lamentations 4 and 3.
Lamentations chapter 4 verse 3. Even the sea monsters draw out the breast.
Right?
They give suck to their young one.
Come on.
The daughter of my people is become cruel.
Yeah, man, to the point where I'm not even gonna feed my children. I'm not even gonna take them out of bad situations. We've become so cruel as a people. I'll drag my child through the mud. As long as I can say, look, I'm being a good mom because they're with me. Having your child with you in drive-bys and shootouts and around a bunch of faggots if you got a son, that ain't love. Having your daughter, a young daughter, around a bunch of random niggas to watch her and prey on her with their eyes, that ain't love. That's right. You setting that little baby up for destruction. But a lot of our people, they swear up and down like, that's love. I got my kid around the homies. Yeah, but when you go to sleep and the homies up and he's feeling some type of way in his damn drawers and he go run to your kid's room, listen. Now, what does that child become though? That's the cold part. A lot of our children don't recover from molestation. A lot of people don't recover from sexual abuse. They become the abuser. They become the thing that they hate.
That's right.
Right? Go to our Lamentations. Go to Lamentations. You finish that? You finish that Lamentations 4? Finish that.
The daughter of my people is become cruel.
Right, go ahead.
Like the ostriches.
Right, because they're without natural affection. They're unmerciful. They're implacable. Covenant breakers. Without understanding. Go ahead.
Like the ostriches in the wilderness.
Read. You like a dumb bird, man. That's what they call y'all, birds. You like a bird. Just bopping your head to every nigga that gives you attention. That's what a bird does when it's getting ready to get fed. It's looks around like, who got the feed? That's how some of these chicks act, man, like birds. Now I understand back in the day when they was calling chicks birds. Oh, that's a bird. Bro, come on, man. Now I get it. That was like 90s slang. When you call a chick a bird or a pigeon, they used to call chicks pigeons. I'm like, pigeon? Why? But I get it, because she be bopping her damn head and looking around where she can get fed at. Not caring about anything else, but being a bird. Go ahead, finish it. Lamentations 2:10.
Lamentations chapter 2, verse 10. The elders of the daughter of Zion stood upon the ground.
Right?
And keep silent.
They do what?
Keep silent.
See, there's no elders that's speaking up and saying anything. They're all been destroyed. They all get wiped out. When you come up against these type of women, these type of men, it's like, oh no, go sit your ass down. That Bible stuff, throw that to the side. So we get parked in a place where it's like, sit down. But then you got a lot of people that ain't even stepping up and taking charge and taking control. We'll talk a good one. We'll talk about it, but who's doing something?
Exactly.
You rather go be about your own business. Read it from the top.
The elders of the daughter of Zion stood upon the ground.
Right?
And keep silent.
They do what?
Keep silent.
There's too much silence. There's too much, oh, I don't want to talk about that. That's a touchy subject. Oh, we'll talk about that another time. There's too much. Let's sweep that under the rug when Uncle Charlie touched you. You got a lot of family members, man, that's out there molesting their children. And the people that know about it are doing what?
Keep silent.
Go ahead.
They have cast up dust upon their head.
Go ahead.
They have girded themselves with sackcloth.
Read on.
The virgins of Jerusalem hang down their heads to the ground.
And this is what happens, man. The children hang their heads. Because who's standing up for them? Read on.
Mine eyes do fail with tears.
Read.
My bowels are troubled.
Come on.
My liver is poured upon the earth for the destruction of the daughter of my people.
Go ahead.
Because the children and the suckling swoon in the streets of the city.
Go to Jeremiah 14-17. It's showing you, man, this thing starts early. You got children being molested at damn 3 months old. You got cases of men. You got women that'll they'll get pregnant by some random dude, have his baby. He'll sit his ass at home with the baby. She goes out to work, fine. But then what happens? Baby ends up in the ER, right? With fractures and broken bones and signs of sexual abuse. And you're like, what the, like, how could this happen to my baby? Well, look at the nigga you chose. Because he got caught up in sex scandals and rape way back. But you didn't sit there, you didn't vet him. You didn't pick a man of wisdom, of knowledge, of understanding. So you put a young soul in the crosshairs of some predator. That's how it goes down in our communities, man. What about, let's talk about it. I used to see this a lot. I used to see this one a lot. I remember being in high school, man. I remember being in high school, and you know, you were a freshman in high school, you checking out all the little freshman chicks, but then you checking out the little sophomores, the juniors, the seniors. You're like, oh, okay, man, them seniors is looking right. Well, you in high school checking out high school girls, but guess who's checking out high school girls with you? Teachers. Not the teachers. The 30-year-old nigga on the block. The 30-year-old dude that got the whip, right? So he can pull up. And he ain't going for the 18. He going for the little young freshmen. He going for the young, easy targets. And all to do what? Hit it, move on. Let her ride around the block in the Benzo or whatever. Let her, buy her a slice of pizza. That's what they did. I'm telling you from straight experience. These niggas would buy these chicks a slice. Let her ride around in the Benz shotgun. Next thing you know, she got a baby. Next thing you know, she's pregnant, and he don't want nothing to do with her. But she's a sophomore or a freshman in high school. You a freshman in high school, you what? 14? 14. Yeah. You 14, man. You got this 30-year-old nigga's baby that don't want nothing to do with you. He wasn't even a righteous man at all. He just wanted to pop from freshman to freshman. I used to see this stuff. I used to see this stuff all the time, man. And nobody, when it says the elders sit down, none of these grown-ass men's homeboys was like, bruh, what the hell are you doing? They'd be like, oh, you hit that? High five. Or let me pass her over to me. Because that's what it was about. These niggas would pass these young girls, man. You talking about running trains? It'd be these old dudes running train. I didn't learn what a train was until I got older. I'm like, running train? What the hell is that? I didn't know what a running train was in high school. I think maybe I learned about that maybe in high school, what it was. But when you heard about who was doing it, it wasn't high schoolers doing it to these girls. It was grown men because they had vehicles, because they had money, because they had a little bit of gold chain on them, they had a little, shades on, they looked cool, they weren't in high school. They could pull up. You know the scene. She got out of school, he leaned up on the car like waiting for her, you know what I mean? You're like, man, this nigga's old as hell. He's old as hell. But the point was he was there to use and abuse. Where was this girl's parents at? Where was her family at? The elders, man, shut the hell up at the wrong time. Y'all want to talk about damn Kobe and LeBron and who's better and who's this and who's that? What about your daughter that's getting tossed around by these niggas in the street?
That's right.
What about the little children that's getting raped by these dumb young men with no wisdom?
That's right.
What about that? Who's talking about that? Jeremiah 14:17.
Jeremiah chapter 14 verse 17. Therefore thou shalt say this word unto them.
Right?
Let my eyes run down with tears night and day.
Read.
And let them not cease. For the virgin daughter of my people is broken.
Is what?
Is broken.
Is what?
Is broken.
Is what?
Is broken.
Go ahead.
With a great breach.
Go ahead.
With a very grievous blow.
It said the virgin daughter is broken with a great breach. You got to think about it. And this ain't just the girls, man. You got little boys that you leave them with the wrong family. Or you leave them around the wrong guys. You got little young boys that are being taught how to masturbate by older men. Oh, this is pornography. And you know what's crazy? You would think like, oh, that's some white boy stuff. Nah. It's happening right in the hood. When you got these old ass niggas, these old dirty monster men. They're not even that old either. They like, imagine if you got a 12-year-old boy hanging out with an 18-year-old man. The destruction that he can do to that man's mind. To that little boy's mind if it's in wickedness. This is what you got in the hood. A lot of older, destroyed people passing down their filth. This is how you masturbate. This is what you masturbate to. I grew up in the hood, and I've seen a lot of this. Old men teaching young boys about masturbation and about running trains on women. Now, you can only imagine the level it's on now, where they teaching them how to be faggots. Right? Back in the day, I don't remember no dude ever trying to teach me how to be gay. Right? Or go bang a guy. That I can honestly say that never happened to me. But I can't say it's probably happening now. Because you got these old faggots teaching these young boys how to be fags. Then they get on TV, there was one, man, these kids was from New York. And they was talking about, they was like rapping. This thing blew my mind, and I seen this years ago. It blew my mind. These little boys was rapping about how good they gave head to other men. I was like, whoa, this ain't New York. Like, New York, listen, New York niggas don't talk like that. And I was like, well, let me reassess the times that we're in. New York niggas do talk like that. All that down low stuff that they was hiding in Philly and in New York and on the East Coast, all they did was the little boys see it and was like, oh yeah, that's what you do? Oh, that's how you top a man off? But these dudes is teaching these kids. It's wild. It's wild, and we wonder like why so many of our children are homosexuals. Well, because all the old homos were showing them. Why is my daughter a lesbian? Well, she saw you getting licked on by a woman. That's why. That's why she wants to be with women. It's taught at home. It's taught at home in a neglectful way. Right? Go to we can go to this one, House of Pot. Let's do. We want to go to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 2 and 25. My bad, y'all. I'm trying. Don't look at me. She's like, what are you trying to do? Deuteronomy 32:25.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 25. The sword
Read.
without and terror within shall destroy both the young man
Read.
and the virgin.
Yeah, man, that sword without, that the beast outside and the terror within. It's sad when your children gotta fight inside molestation and outside molestation. You gotta worry about the family member that you leave them with. Like, damn, am I gonna come back and or in 5 years is my little son gonna tell me that the babysitter touched on him? That was always one of my fears, man. Was you leave your kid with a sitter and you find out years later that, yeah, such and such was touching on me. You like, whoa. And that such and such was your family. Read it one more time.
The sword without
Right?
and the terror within.
See, why? But you got to see that. The sword without and the terror within. How do we have terror within our homes, man? We know the sword is going to be out there waiting. We know the destruction from the world is waiting. That sword is waiting to devour. But as righteous people, man, as people trying to attain the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, we shouldn't have to worry about the terror within. That's where you as women, us as men, step the hell up.
God.
And be a better example. Be there to defend your children. Go ahead.
The sword without and the terror within shall destroy both the young man
Right?
and the virgin.
Right, because it's not a women thing. Women, it ain't just women that get molested. Little boys too, man. Little boys too. You hear about the one where the dude said he walked in the house and he heard his son kind of crying. And I don't know what man it was that was basically sodomizing his son. He beat this man to a pulp. He beat this man so bad even the cops congratulated him. They came, they didn't even arrest him. He beat this man's face in. I don't know why he didn't kill him. But he beat this man. He had you could hear the 911 call going. And he was beating this man over the phone. For sodomizing his son. I would have took that man out. I would have beat him and then I would have just killed him. I would have had to go to jail for that one. But why should we have to be worried about these terrors within? Why did you leave your son with that man? Now you got to go and damn near rip a man's head off? Your son should have never been with him. He should have never been with some random ass cat or in that situation. But then you have the situations where you'll send your son to the bathroom, because you had this one where they sent their son to the bathroom, different situation, and some damn molester saw him going to the bathroom and followed him in there and raped him in the bathroom, right in the stalls. So now I'm gonna say this: if I send my son to the restroom, I'm not going to just go to the restroom. I never do that. He's 6 years old, and I know the evils that are out there. But what has taught me that? Wisdom, knowledge, understanding that you can't just send a little boy to the bathroom these days. Back in my day, you could have went to the bathroom at 6 by yourself. Came out, washed your hands, and been fine. Now they scooping niggas up at the bathroom door like, oh, little boy, let's take him. Let's go in here, touch on him. Let's flash him. You got the ones that run around flashing kids. Back in my day, I didn't really have to worry about that. I never seen that. But I know now you got to worry about that.
There's this case where in elementary school, this little sister and her brother raped a little girl.
In school?
Yeah, and then it was like school had just ended.
Yeah. You got kids raping kids, man. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that part. Go back to Jeremiah. Read 14:17. And I'm going to hit y'all with some stats.
Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 17. Therefore thou shalt say this word unto them. Let my eyes run down with tears.
Right?
Night and day.
Read.
And let them not cease.
Read.
For the virgin daughter of my people,
Come on,
is broken with a great breach.
yeah, man. Not just the daughters, but the sons, man. They're broken with this breach in society that says, you know what, we're not going to protect our children. Well, the protection comes from having wisdom. The protection comes from having knowledge. If you don't know not to send your children into the bathroom alone, I can send my daughter to the bathroom alone. She's 12. I'll send her, but I'm still like, wait a minute. Where's the bathroom at? How long she's taking? Because I'll kick a woman's bathroom door down. I don't give a damn. She in there too long. I'm going up in there.
That's right.
I'm about to investigate. I don't care about laws and stat. I don't give a damn about that.
That's right.
So I am watching and saying, okay, she's old enough. If something's going on, she'll be able to cry out, whatever the case may be. But it takes a certain type of, and it shouldn't have to take a certain type of mind, but in this day and age, where predators are getting more crafty, where that sword is getting more invisible, you got to be more diligent to say, wait a minute, let me take more care. When my kids just go do something like wash their hands in the damn restroom.
And to add to that, like we talked about earlier, no natural affection from the parents, because that's a natural loving father, instinct to want to make sure, even though your daughter is old enough, you still want to make sure she's
good.
Coming out.
Yeah, I want to make sure she's coming in and coming out. There ain't nothing going down. I remember even it sucks when you do have girls sometimes, and you're by yourself with them, and they got to go to the bathroom. I remember when she was coming up and she was young, and or if I had to go to the bathroom, I'm like, damn, I got to bring her up in this damn man's bathroom, and I'd be like, okay, and I'm spying out the whole scene, and I'm like, okay. I'm walking her in with her eyes blinded, and they look at me like, what the hell's your problem? I'm like, because I don't want her to see y'all naked white asses, that's why. And I'm like, okay, stand in this corner right here, and I'll put her to the corner, do my thing, and then run out. But you got kids, man, sometimes you walk in the bathroom, and you got kids just going from urinal to urinal. I'm like, where the hell's your parent? What the hell are you doing? And their dad is lollygagging in the stall, doing his thing, and the kid is just moving around, just checking out all the little Peters, right? He's just going from urinal to urinal, just looking. And I'm like, whoa, this is where it starts. This is where that curiosity starts to peak, right? So let me read this real quick. I just went on Wikipedia, and I just searched child molestation. It says molestation, the crime of sexual acts with children up to the age of 18. Including touching of private parts, exposure of genitalia. So when a man is flashing, you got those flashers, right? Exposure of genitalia, taking of pornographic pictures. So I'm gonna hit y'all with this because this is how they get caught too. When you let your kids just sit up on the social media, sit up on the phone, and they get the little ding, and it's a 50-year-old man talking about send me a pic. Or ding, they open it and it's a picture of a man's genitalia. That's part of it. Next thing you know, they going back and forth on the chat. Next thing you know, it's a meetup. This is how it goes down, man. Right? It says rape, inducement of sexual acts with the molester or with other children, and variations of these acts by pedophiles. It says molestation also applies to incest by a relative with a minor family member, and any one of the sex acts with adults short of rape. Oh man, where's it at? There was another part I had in here, but it was talking about 60% of molestation happens in the home. In their home. Not when they go out, not when they go kick it over here or hang out at class. It happens in their home. So what does that have to say with the covering of that home?
Well, I took a class on how to prevent sexual assault for children, and they said that 50% of the cases are never reported, and 99% of those cases are from their family members or from like a coach or someone they know.
We'll get into that also. I got all that covered. I'm glad you're speaking on it though, but I got it covered. Watch, we're gonna go into it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. The global prevalence of child sexual abuse has been estimated at 19% for females and 7.9% for males. Most sexual abuse offenders are acquainted with their victim. Approximately 30% are relatives of the child. That gotta show you something. That 30% of the sexual assault victims is their relative. A damn dirty ass uncle, a dirty grandpa, a dirty cousin, right? It says, most often brothers, fathers, uncles, or cousins. Around 60% are other acquaintances such as friends. So, if 30% are family members, but 60% are friends, those wild beasts that the mother forgets, and you leave your child, oh, I'm about to run to the store, can you watch Little Timmy? Oh yeah, I'll watch Little Timmy. Exactly. Next thing you know, hey, come here real quick. And he start touching on him. Y'all see the little videos of how they do it? I don't know. Y'all seen it. They start touching on him, or let me see this, or touch on me. And that's how they do it. Hey, come here real quick, touch this. Just like the one dude, the Santa Claus. Ronnie, you put the link. It was the Santa Claus that painted his penis as a candy cane. And he was making kids lick it and touch it. He's a damn pedophile, child molesting. Letting them sit on his lap with his penis out. Come on now. So it's not always that they're doing things to the child, but they're letting the children do things to them. Here, put your mouth on this. Here, let me lick on this. I know it's probably hard to hear, but this is how it goes down. And it only goes down because we're not watching. I don't leave my kids with nobody I don't trust. Right. If I even feel it, I'm like, oh no, you ain't staying. Nah, bro, it's not happening. I don't leave my kids just any old place. I leave my kids with brothers. I leave my kids with sisters. My kids ain't been in daycare. They can tell you, they ain't been in daycare. I don't trust no daycare. My daughter went to daycare and it had to happen. She went to daycare for like 3 months, max, because I had to work 2 jobs. And I hated it. Every day I dropped her off, I'm like, oh my God. I was panicking inside. And then I did hear that the little daycare worker, she was like cursing at her or something. I pulled her immediately. This woman was cursing at my daughter. At that time, man, she was, how old were you? You don't remember. No, it was 6, that was like 7 years ago. How old are you now? 12. What's 12 to 7? You were 5. Yeah, she was 5. And this woman was mad at her because she didn't want to eat a banana. And cursed at her and all that. I'm like, what? Yeah, gone. Because that anger that these women have, that lack of nurture, you're supposed to have nurture as a woman. This woman was angry as hell. And she presented herself all hunky-dory and nice, and I'm going to do this and teach her ABCs, and yay, and we're going to have fun. What it was, this is how she got caught. My rib went to go pick up Naomi from the daycare, from the house. And I think the door was open and she went in and she heard this woman cursing at her. And that's how we was like, oh yeah, you wildin'. You're done. But sometimes we are put in situations where you gotta take your kids to daycare. You gotta put them in school. But we have to be more careful in the situations we just drop them off in. Sometimes there's no other alternative, but I always believe there is, man. Sometimes the problem is we don't want to take the hit. Yeah. It's like, I gotta go do this, so you gotta get dropped off. No, you don't. Figure something else out. Because what's more important, you handling what you gotta handle or your kids' well-being and the longevity, right? So 60% are acquaintances or friends of the family members, babysitters or neighbors. Strangers are the offenders in approximately 10%. So 10% of molestation cases, strangers. Stranger danger, right? We always tell our kids, stranger danger, don't talk to strangers. We always tell them that, right? I tell my son, I say talk to strangers. You know why? Because they see that when they don't want to talk and they're just balled up. Those are the ones they go after. The ones that are just like not socially able to maneuver. Like I teach my kids, no, somebody says hi, you just say hi. Yeah. Say hi back. Let them know that you're conscious of what's going on around you. Exactly. Let them know that you're aware of them. Right. Yeah. Because that's how they do it. Like, oh, he's not aware. He's not looking. Hey, come here, little boy. It's stranger date, right? But then it gets, oh, I got some candy. Oh, I got a puppy. Oh, puppy. Next thing you know, they're in the white van. Yeah. Right? God. Most child sexual abuse is committed by men. Studies on female child molesters show that women commit 14% to 40% of these offenses reported against boys and 6% of offenses reported against girls. So, go to Isaiah. Go to Isaiah 1 and verse 8.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 8. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard.
Now, this is the equating of what happens to our children when there's no cover, there's no guide, there's no shelter, there's no protection. It said they're left like a cottage in a vineyard. Read.
As a lodge in a garden of cucumbers.
As a what?
As a lodge in a garden of cucumbers.
I need y'all to use y'all imagination. I need y'all to use y'all. Listen, the Most High put it eloquently. Yeah. What, a garden of cucumbers? The Most High is putting that eloquently, man. Showing that you leave your daughter unattended. All you got is male genitalia trying to circle her around like a cottage. Trying to do what? Trying to get up in there, man. Y'all, some of y'all got daughters. I got daughters, so I know how it is. But as a boy coming up, I know how it is when you see a girl you like and you like, oh, I need to get that. But you're not the only one that's thinking that. All the cucumbers are looking like, how can we get up in that cottage? Yeah. Now, the problem is, as a young boy, I was looking at young girls. Yeah. Right? And I wasn't trying to molest little kids and do all that. You got these men, man, that are watch, read on.
As a besieged city.
And what do you do in a besieged city? When a city is besieged, means it has no what?
Walls.
No walls, no defense. This is how we leave our children. Not just girls, bro. That's the thing. The boys too. We leave them like a besieged city. Like, oh, I'm busy. So go over there and play with the neighbor. Right. They love going to the neighbor's house because the neighbor gives them candy and pizza. He does all the good, fun things you don't do at home, but then he's touching on them. And if you say something, no more pizza, no more candy, no more fun times. Lamentations 5:1. Lamentations 5 verse 1.
Lamentations chapter 5 verse 1.
Read.
Remember, O Lord,
read,
what is come upon us.
Come on.
Consider and behold our reproach.
Jump down to verse 6.
God, we have given the hand to the Egyptians.
We have done what?
Given the hand to the Egyptians.
Read.
And to the Assyrians.
And this is our problem. We've given our hand. Oh, America, take hold of me. Oh, America, lead me. We as a people have given our hand to the Egyptians. Read.
To be satisfied with bread.
To be what?
To be satisfied with bread.
Because this is what we're looking at. How do we get satisfied? How do we get satisfied, but we're not paying attention to our children? They're being left like a cottage in a vineyard of cucumbers.
God.
Read verse 7.
God. Our fathers have sinned.
Come on.
And are not.
Yeah, the fathers of sin, they wiped out. It's almost as if they're not. Because what wisdom, what knowledge is a weedhead, a crackhead, a pimp, a dope dealer, a hustler, a nigga in jail gonna offer? Or someone that just don't even care. Go ahead.
And we have borne their iniquity.
Verse 11.
Come. They ravished the women in Zion.
Read.
And the maids in the cities of Judah.
And this is what goes on with our children, man. They're getting ravished. Their minds are being raped, and so is their flesh. Go ahead. Verse 14.
The elders have ceased from the the gate.
Right?
The young men from their music.
The elders, there is no elders.
God.
The elders used to sit at the gates of the cities, man, and watch who was coming in and who was going out. Wait, what you got business here? You know what's crazy? Ride by any one of these high schools during school hours, and I guarantee you, if you ain't got no pass, you can't get in.
God.
They got a cop at every entrance. I made a mistake. I was trying to cut through because he lives right behind the school.
God.
And you can go from one street and cut through the parking lot and be right by his house.
God.
And I was trying to cut through. We always take the shortcut, but I always go to his house after hours. So I'm like, I'm just taking my regular old way. I'm cutting through. Whoop, 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 whoop. I was like, whoa, what are you doing on the premises? Where's your? I was like, I'm just cutting through, and you can see Thahom's house. I'm like, dude, I'm just cutting through to the house. He was like, no, you're school hours. I was like, my bad.
Yeah.
I had to get up off. I was already halfway there. He was like, turn around. They'll protect theirs.
Yeah.
Who's protecting ours? Read verse 14 one more time.
Jeremiah chapter 5 verse 14.
Right?
The elders have ceased from the gate.
Read.
The young men from their music.
Yeah, there is no music, no good times, no joy. Why? Because now the children got to worry about who's going to try to violate them. The children got to worry about who's going to try to take advantage.
That's right.
But a lot of them already have been taken advantage of.
Right.
So there is no joyous time. There is no music.
Yeah.
Read verse 15.
The joy of our heart is ceased.
Go ahead.
Our dance is turned into mourning.
16. Read.
The crown is fallen from our head.
There is no more glory, man. That crown represents that glory, that majesty, that prestige. That's why the scriptures say in Lamentation, how does the fine gold become dim? Because we allow it.
Yeah.
With our neglect, with our lack of care, we sit back and we allow it. We don't polish it.
That's right.
How does the silver become dross? Because we don't care for it.
Right.
Read on.
Woe unto us.
Read.
That we have sinned.
Go to 2nd Ezra 10:22. Now after all that's said and done, the children get abused, used and abused. They're in a mental anguish. Children become shamed. They don't even want to say nothing. They don't even want to say nothing because when they do come to you with issues, it's your fault. It's their fault. Well, you made it happen. Well, it's your fault. Well, it's your fault. What were you doing for him to come into your room and touch on you? What you mean? I was being a child. What the hell? A little girl, not saying a little girl should be walking around in crop tops and tight-ass spandex even in their house.
Right.
There got to be a standard everywhere, but
Right.
if you're a grown woman that lets your daughter, teenage daughter, walk around any man with her damn nipples out and tight booty shorts, then you got a problem.
Right.
I don't care if you in the house or not.
Right.
There got to be a level of respect all across the board.
Right.
There got to be a standard for our women at home and out on the streets.
That's right.
Should be the same standard.
Con.
It should be the same standard of modesty.
Con.
Right? 2nd Ezra 10:22. Read.
Con. 2nd Ezra chapter 10 verse 22. Our posterity is laid on the ground.
Our sultry.
Sultry, slack it.
Go ahead.
Our song is put to silence.
Right. Just how you said the young ones have ceased from their music. The sultry is laid on the ground. There is no more joy. Go ahead.
Our rejoicing is at an end.
Read.
The light of our candlestick is put out.
Come on.
The ark of our covenant is spoiled. Our holy things are defiled.
Come on.
And the name that is called upon us is almost profaned. Our children are put to shame.
Our children are what?
Are put to shame.
Are what?
Are put to shame.
Yeah, because they're being put in these situations where if I say something, I'm wrong. If I don't say something, I'm wrong. Think about that. Think about being put in this precarious situation where some grown beast or some young child has violated you sexually, and if you say something, you're going to be looked at a certain way. But if you don't say something, now you got to deal with that pain, and you got to deal with that anguish, and you got to carry that for your life. It says our children are put to shame. Go to Psalms 44:9. And this is the problem, man. We instead of empowering the children, instead of being there for our children and communicating and letting them know that it's okay to stand up against wickedness, we put them down. We make them, the victim, seem like it's their fault.
Come on.
Read Psalms 49 and verse 9.
Psalms chapter 44 verse 9.
Come on.
But thou hast cast off.
Read.
And put us to shame.
Read.
And goest not forth with our army.
Verse 10.
Thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves.
Verse 12.
Thou sellest thy people for naught.
Come on.
And dost not increase thy wealth by their price.
13.
Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors.
Read.
A scorn and a derision to them that are round about us.
Verse 14.
Thou makest us a byword among the heathen.
Right.
A shaking of the head among the people.
Verse 15.
My confusion is continually before me.
Come on.
And the shame of my face had covered
And
me.
this is what it trickles down to for our people, man. We become a reproach. We become shameful. We're like property for the heathen, man. We're like property to be passed around. This is what the children become. This is what we all have become. A price on your head. Because if they ain't just molesting our children, they killing them for organs, or they using them for something else that's deviant and disgusting. Grooming them to be the next celebrities and the next sports stars. You gotta wake up. We gotta wake the hell up, man. They are grooming our children. If there's not a physical molestation, they molesting that mind.
That's right.
And getting that mind to move in a certain way where it's like, oh, I want to be like them. They're molding your children to be the next damn devils. Jeremiah 3:25. Jeremiah 3:25.
Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 25. We lie down in our shame.
We do what?
Lie down in our shame.
See, this is what happens to the children. Now they lie down in that shame. Now they wallow in that shame. They wallow in that mud, in that dirt, in that vomit. They sit back and just, all they have throughout their whole life is shame. Why? Because it's either the shame of going through that situation, the shame that nobody believed them, or the shame that when they did say something about it, they were put to the blame. So what do you do with that shame? Well, what do most people that are abused and used do with shame? They become what shamed them. They become the very thing that put them to shame. That's how they feel they can be in control. The only way for me to control this shame is to become and devour what shamed me. Read on.
And our confusion covereth us.
And our what?
Confusion covereth us.
Man, this is all confusion and chaos in the Black and Hispanic society. Especially when it comes to this topic. We don't want to deal with it. A lot of us have been touched on by great-grandpa or grandpa. I was watching, who was it? What show is it? It's How to Get Away with Murder. And you know why I like that show? Because it dealt with a lot of different issues that black folk don't want to talk about. It dealt with alcoholism. It dealt with molestation. The main character was an alcoholic, and she got abused sexually by her uncle that needed a place to stay for a night. He ended up staying for a couple of weeks. Everybody fall asleep. He creeping to her room. So her mom knew what was going on, but mom didn't want to talk about it. Mom didn't want to talk about it. This is what mom did. Instead of probably calling the cops or getting that man up out of there, she waited until he was asleep and burned the house down while he was in there. I'm like, damn.
He was drunk.
And he was there. He got drunk. She burned the house down. That was the way for her to. But how did that? Because you've seen the show. But how did that fix her? It didn't. It made her go into the bottle.
Yeah.
It made her abusive to her pupils. She was abusive as hell to them students. If anybody has seen How to Get Away with Murder. She was abusive. Lashed out verbally. So the same abuse that she hated, she took on and she became that. That same shame that she tried to run from, she became that. She just did it in more destructive ways. Alcoholism, verbal abuse. She added sin unto sin. Right? Did you finish that, Jeremiah?
No, sir.
Go to Isaiah. Finish Jeremiah, go to Isaiah 1 and 4. Finish Jeremiah.
For we have sinned against the Lord our God.
Right?
We and our fathers.
Read.
For our youth even unto this day.
Did you read verse 25?
That was 25, yes, sir.
Right. Read verse 25 one more time.
Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 25.
Right.
We lay down in our shame.
Read.
And our confusion covereth us.
Right.
For we have sinned against Yahweh our power.
Right.
We and our fathers, from our youth even unto this day.
Come on.
And have not obeyed the voice of Yahweh our power.
Isaiah 1 and verse 4.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 4.
And this is what happens after that shame compasses these children. After that shame turns them into little monsters. This is what they do. Isaiah 1 and verse 4.
Sinful nation.
Right?
A people laden with iniquity.
Wait, what happens?
A people laden with iniquity.
Because they continue the corruption. Watch, read.
A seed of evildoers.
Read.
Children that are corrupt.
Children that are what?
Corrupt.
That are what?
Corrupters.
How can children be corrupters? Well, because they were a corrupted seed. No one took the time to sift through their mind and sift through their emotions and say, how do we can't fix what happened. You can't take away what happened. But now you can set up parameters in a person's mind, physically, mentally, spiritually, so that it don't happen again and so that they don't feel a certain way. Read it verse 4 one more time.
Sinful nation.
Right?
A people laden with iniquity.
Read.
A seed of evildoers.
Read.
Children that are corrupters.
Read.
They have forsaken the Lord.
Now these children don't believe in the Most High. Because why would the Most High let a child get molested? So now they're like, well, I don't believe in God. So they become atheists. They become everything else but what they were supposed to be. Followers of the Most High. Read.
They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward.
Read verse 5. Read.
Why should ye be stricken anymore?
Read.
Ye will revolt more and more.
We will what?
Revolt more and more.
Yeah, it gets worse and worse with our people. We don't sit back and say, damn, let me fix the problem. We just get worse and worse. Go back more into the mud. Come on, read.
The whole head is sick.
The whole what?
Head is sick.
And no matter where you started from, I don't care what generation. If you take a child in his generation, 5 years old right now, and raise him crappy, and put him in bad situations, guess what? He's going to become the head of something. But if he's sick and he's grown into being the head, what's the rest of the body going to be? Sick. The problem is he already got a sick head. He already got sick parents, sick elders. Go ahead.
The whole head is sick.
Read.
And the whole heart faint.
Read on.
From the sole of the foot,
right,
even unto the head, there's no soundness in it.
There is no what?
Soundness in it.
Go ahead.
But wounds.
What makes you sound? The wisdom and knowledge is the strength of salvation and the stability of your times. There's no soundness. There's no nurture. There's no understanding. There's no wisdom with these children. Because no one is sitting back and saying, hey, let's deal with your mental issue. Let's deal with these physical problems. Let's deal with the depression. How the hell are you 13 with anxiety? Anxious for what? How are you 13 with depression? But those all come from physical abuses also. Go ahead.
But wounds.
But what?
Wounds.
Yeah, our children, man, are wounded. A lot of you adults are still wounded. You carry the scar, not even the scars. You still walking around with open wounds from the things that happened in your childhood. Watch, it's gonna tell you. Read.
For wounds and bruises,
right,
and
putrefying
putrefying sores.
With open cuts, man, pussing out blood and infection. No one healed you. No one patched you up. No one sat you down and said, hey, wait a minute, that was wrong that you went through. That's not the way things should be. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there to defend you. I'm sorry I wasn't there to protect you, nurture you. I'm sorry I had to put you in that precarious situation. No one bound us up. Go ahead.
They have not been clothed.
They have what?
Have not been clothed.
Read.
Neither bound up.
Read.
Neither mollified with ointment.
A lot of our people, man, are walking around not with scars, but with open wounds. 30 years, 40 years, 20 years, 10 years of just bleeding out. Go from there. Wisdom of Solomon 17 and verse 1. And the cycle repeats with the children. And it's a bad cycle of us not knowing how to fix them because we haven't been fixed. Us not knowing how to nurture those wounds and nurture them back to health. 17 and 1, Wisdom of Solomon, go.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 1. For great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed.
Read.
Therefore unnurtured souls have erred.
Unnurtured souls, they err. What errors do they commit? The same ones that they see. The same error that was shown to them is what they commit. Go to Ecclesiasticus 22 and verse 3. The same unnurtured souls commit the same errors as unnurtured souls. Remember, it said wickedness proceeded from the wicked. Ecclesiasticus 22 and verse 3.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 22 verse 3.
Read.
An evil nurtured son,
Come on,
is the dishonor of his father.
This is what happens, man. We evil nurture our children. Because we don't fix the things that has happened to them. We don't try to put them in different situations. We don't use wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It said, he that despised wisdom and nurture, his children shall be wicked, his wives wicked, his works and labors unprofitable. Read on.
That beget him, and a foolish daughter is born to his loss.
Is born to what?
To his loss.
Yeah, a foolish daughter is the loss of that father, but guess what? That's everybody's girl, B. That's the community. I hated to say it, but that's what happens. She becomes the jump off for the community. She becomes the sex toy for the block. That son, he becomes the homeboy for the bad homeboys. That's a loss. An evil nurtured man is a dishonor. So what do we got to do? Let's break the cycle. Go to 2nd Ezra 2. Get it for me, Shaquat. Let's break the cycle. And it's very simple. It's not hard. First of all, we got to come back to wisdom. We got to come back to nurture. We got to come back to actually caring for ourselves. First of all, us as adults, you got to care for yourself enough to. You got to care for yourself enough to let your guard down and open up to be healed. That's first and foremost. Jeremiah 5:16. Confess your faults one to another, that you may be healed. You got to care about yourself enough, but then you also have to care about your children. To say, well, if I need to be healed, and I got to be able to give them the healing, something broken can't fix anything. A broken person can't heal a broken person. It doesn't work like that. Satan can't cast out Satan. Evil don't cast out evil. Right? So you got to be fixed. 2nd Ezra 2:15.
2nd Ezra chapter 2 verse 15.
Go ahead.
Mother,
Read.
Embrace thy children.
Do what?
Embrace thy children.
Yeah, man. We got to embrace our children. Mother, father, but with wisdom, with knowledge, with understanding. Go ahead.
And bring them up with gladness.
Come on.
Make their feet as fast as a pillar.
You see that? We got to anchor them down to this word. We got to anchor our children down to this wisdom. Go ahead.
For I have chosen thee, saith the Lord.
Verse 25.
Nurse thy children.
Do what?
Nurse thy children.
Read.
O thou good nurse.
Come on.
establish that
You see, I was telling you to give them stability.
God.
Not talking about a PlayStation, a pair of damn sneakers, a bike. It says give them stability, nourish them, make them stable as a pillar. Right? Verse 30.
God. Be joyful.
Be what?
Be joyful.
Be angry.
Be joyful.
Be upset.
Be joyful.
Be bitter.
Be joyful.
Read.
O thou mother,
Come on.
with thy children,
Read.
for I will deliver thee.
He said, be joyful with your children. Take joy in them. Don't be disdainful because you got them. Don't hate the fact that they interrupted your whack life anyway. They were the best thing that happened to you.
God.
Some of y'all don't realize, man, having kids is what saved your life.
God.
If it wasn't for them kids tying you down to that house, you would have been a bigger hoe, been on more drugs, been on more alcohol, been in more problems, been with more niggas.
That's right. God.
Some of you fathers, man, you like, man, these damn kids, they stopping my life. Well, guess what? Them kids kept you out the street.
That's right. God.
Running with the homeboys. Now I gotta go home to the kids. And even if you hated to do it, you went and did it, some of us.
God.
Even when you wanted to be with the homeboys and kick it, the kids were supposed to come first.
God.
My kids kept me from doing a lot of foolishness, I'm gonna say that. Because this is the thing. I know that I have to go to work in the day. No, excuse me, I have to go to work at night, and I have to be there with them in the daytime. So I didn't have time to go kick it and run around and be foolish and get faded and get high.
Right.
One of my worst fears was having my kids see me like high or drunk or just get them into some bad situation. That was one of my worst things, like getting arrested with your children. You out there doing foolish. You out there popping tags in the damn mall. You over there shoplifting.
Right.
Got your kids in the stroller.
Right.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Right.
Next thing you know, the kids is hauled off to child protective, and you hauled off to jail.
Right.
One of my worst fears was getting caught up in anything with my kids around,
Right.
and having them have to go through that cycle.
Right.
So I said, nah, I'm gonna go to work at night. And I'm gonna go to take my ass home in the daytime.
That's right.
My whole thing was, damn, you little dudes ain't letting me sleep. Because they didn't. They didn't. They want attention. They want attention. They want to you know, they'll come to you, and even this guy, man, he's, Dad, look, and he wants to show me everything, and I'm like, gotcha, son. I'm not mad about it. I'm happy, actually.
That's right.
But it takes you gotta be in a certain mind, and we shouldn't have to be. That natural affection should come from us.
God.
Right? That joy of looking at a little life and saying, damn, that came from me. That should be happy. You should be happy.
That's right.
But a lot of women, bro, that hardened heart, that cruelty, you look at them as the worst thing that ever happened to you.
Right.
Let me finish it up. Go ahead.
Be joyful, O thou mother,
Right?
with thy children, for I will deliver thee, saith the Lord.
32, read.
Embrace thy children until I come.
Do what?
Embrace thy children until I come.
Keep them close, but not close in your filth.
God.
Not because you're going through some filthy situation, they got to be with you.
Right.
You got to know that the nurture is, wait a minute, I can't let my kids see me going through my rough times.
God.
Let me put them where they need to be. Let me put them around somebody that's actually going to deal with them the right way.
Right.
That's sometimes the hardest decision for a parent.
God.
I know a couple of people, man, that they were like, yeah, my parents are homeless. And I'm like, okay, what about you? They're like, no, they sent me to my aunt's house. Or they sent me over here.
Right.
Or they sent me over here. And I'm like, damn, okay, at least they was not trying to let you be homeless with them to live that life. But you got some women, dude, our women are like, yeah, I'm homeless, so is my kids. They're going to be in the shelter with me. It's like, the shelter?
Right.
The hell are you talking about, the shelter? You got women that have sat here and learned the Bible.
Right.
And literally was like, yeah, I'm taking my kids to the shelter. Well, you got a whole man right here.
God.
You got a whole man that got a place.
God.
But to prove a point, I gotta prove that I'm the HBITCH, the HBIC, whatever you say,
Yeah.
that my way is gonna surpass your wisdom. I'm gonna have my kids up in that shelter. What are they gonna learn? Right? Read verse 32.
Embrace thy children
Right?
until I come,
Right?
and show mercy unto them.
Come on.
For
Show
my-
what?
Show mercy.
Unto them.
God.
In It said, what was that? Timothy? What was that? It said they were unmerciful. Romans said they were unmerciful. Scripture's coming back and saying we got to show mercy to our children. Go ahead.
For my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail.
Last one. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 23.
27 verse 3.
Ecclesiastes 7 and 23.
Come.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 verse 23.
Read.
Hast thou children?
This is a question. You got kids? Got milk? Got children? Go ahead.
Instruct them.
Do what?
Instruct them.
But you got to be first instructed. Come on.
And bow down their neck from their youth.
You have to have had your neck bowed down and been humble to the wisdom. Read.
Hast thou daughters?
Come on.
Have a care of their body.
Have a what?
Have a care of their body.
Have a what?
Have a care of their
That
body.
means you tell them what to wear, what to eat, how to dress, how not to dress, how to do their hair. Listen, when to paint their nails, makeup, yes, no, that's you as parents.
Right.
We sit back and like, oh yeah, do what you want. Hell nah, you ain't just gonna color your hair and cut it and paint nails and do all that without my approval. I gotta take care of your body. You know why? Because then that's the gateway. All that makeup, all that nails doing, that's the gateway for some dumb nigga to look at you like, oh, she's grown now. Let me get at that. Oh, she's developing and I can see it. Nope, you're going to cover up. We got to take more care of their body. Go ahead, read on.
And show not thyself cheerful toward them.
Meaning what? We got to have a little bit of a backbone when it comes to our children, man. Yes, it's not saying to be angry towards your children, but that overly cheerful, oh, that's my best friend. Nah. Oh, I'm going to buy you alcohol and weed so you don't do it around other people. No, that ain't going down. You a child. Stay in a child's place. 25. Let's finish it up.
Marry thy daughter.
Right?
And so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
You know why I added this in? Marry thy daughter. Go ahead, read on. Watch.
But give her to a man of understanding.
Wait, what?
To a man of understanding.
The Bible tells us that if you have a daughter, to marry her to a man of understanding. What does that mean? That I'm taking care of her life from the time she's born until the time she steps out of my house. But that's the daughter. Now, if she's marrying a man of understanding, that means that son or that man she's marrying, someone has nurtured him from his birth to the day he steps out of my house. Now, if we all did that, imagine how powerful. If we all had sons of understanding, if we all gave our daughters to these type of men and had daughters that were worthy to be called wives, imagine where we would be. So, at the end of the day, I pulled this scripture because it starts with us as grown people. It starts with us, man. Any questions? Thank y'all for bearing with me. And they become homosexuals. Yeah, I didn't even hit that part because we know that, they get molested, they get touched on. Yes, they definitely. That's where homosexuality starts. I didn't want to hit that aspect because we hit that aspect a lot, but it is worthy to be said. I know a man that was molested. When he grew up, he became a serial killer. He ran around Central Park taking out transvestites. He was arrested and died in Rikers Island. Yeah. Either you become what you hate or you destroy what you hate. Yeah, right. You go out but in the wrong way. You go out on a vengeance. Right. A man that's molested by another, think about when a woman is molested by a man, she more than likely starts to hate men. That's where your lesbianism comes. Boys that are molested by men, they become that man. Right. But they become effeminate the wrong way. Right. Or yes, they become overly aggressive. Right. That's where that balance. Con. Nothing online. He used to play basketball. Con. All right. right, man. I appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all sticking it online. Remember, if you'd like to donate anything for the Passover, you can do so with the Google Wallet or with the Wells Fargo. Yeah. We appreciate y'all watching, man. They'll be back tomorrow in Virginia, so look out for that. And if that's it, let's say shalom.
Shalom!
The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah, the Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. Yeah. The Most High is my rock. I keep my Bible on top. The Most High is my rock. No time for cupcake and the cutling. Hit the streets and start cutting. The Israelites are bubbling. The Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can keep the stuffing. It's pagan, disdain, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button. And I feel sorry for you if you think the Lord is bluffing. That's why I hit the booth and I tell the truth. Are you fishing with the truth? Homie, where's your fruit? If the Most High is your rock, don't treat him like a side piece. Come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you keep the